Hello, adventurers. My name's Tyler.
And I'm Richard.
On today's episode, it's Christmas Eve. Welcome to True Strike. Get off my show, monster.
Howdy, folks, and welcome back to the show.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Richard's not a fan.
I'm a Grinch.
He is. But his favorite holiday's coming up soon.
What
New
is
Year's
it?
Day.
Oh, New Year's Day. I mean, I like that better than Christmas.
Wow.
I mean, I don't hate Christmas.
It sounds like you hate Christmas.
I don't hate Christmas. I like my tree. I like decorating the tree and everything
His
like
tree
that.
last year said True Strike on it. It was really cool.
I made it a True Strike
it's,
tree.
it's one of those cool like programmable LED ones. It's
yeah.
neat. Yep.
I had the scrolling words right across the front of the tree.
He's like, Tyler, look at this tree. And I'm like, cool, red and white. That's neat. And he's like, it says True Strike.
You have
I'm
to
like,
slow it
"Oh!"
down. You got to really focus on it to see the words True Strike. And then the die really doesn't translate well onto a twinkly tree.
It was cool as heck, though.
No, it's the getting up early. And it's all cold. And
You don't do that, though.
what do you mean?
Why would you get up early for Christmas?
Because of the presents.
Do you do presents?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought no one in your house did presents.
No, we do them for the kid and everything like that. So,
Okay.
like, yeah, we do.
Did you do that thing where she like jumps in her bed in the morning?
We do
like,
that. No,
"Father!"
she's never done that. She's never done that. She basically,
You're up
ever
at like
since she
6
was
in the
little,
morning to feed the cows
has
anyway.
like stayed in her room basically until we like knock on the door and we're like, it's time to get up.
It's ready.
Although, you hear him running around the house. Yeah. No, it's not that I don't hate Christmas. I just like Halloween better.
And I'm sure a lot of people do.
Yeah.
In fact, if you remind me when I go to put this episode up, I'll put a poll up on Spotify.
I have a Christmas hat. I didn't bring it because you didn't tell me we were wearing Christmas hats.
I just always have mine ready.
So now I have to be the Grinch.
Well, were you going to change your
This
tune?
man has
Are you playing a character?
He has a specific like blow up Christmas guy who
true.
goes in his car.
It's in my car right now.
Yes, that
He's
he puts
already
in
there.
his car to
I
drive.
haven't
in the
inflated him yet,
passenger
but he's
seat.
there.
Yeah. What is this? Snowman?
It's Snowman.
Yeah, inflatable
He
snowman.
rides in the passenger seat.
That
He's got a
rides along
fan.
with him.
So when I'm driving around, it's like the whole time, and he's so bright. So when it's dark outside, I'm like half blinded. I look like Elon Musk in that one photo of like the waking up.
I would accuse you of carpool laning, but we don't even have those because we live in the country.
Yeah, but just in case.
So
you know?
if you happen to find a carpool lane somewhere,
if they add one on the way to work, I'm gonna need it.
you and Frosty, you're set.
We're good to go.
Yeah.
But of course, those two headed to work. So, a couple weeks ago at this point, Secret Level has started releasing on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
We're not endorsing Amazon Prime. We're not paid by Amazon Prime or
No.
anything like that. However, episode number 1 is Dungeons and Dragons. And guess what we do? Cover Dungeons and Dragons. So we watched that. It's about 15 minutes long. You actually reminded me that it was out and recommended it. So at your request, I checked it out and I thought it was pretty good.
And I was so excited for him to watch this too, because I watched it. I was initially disappointed because it was only 15 minutes long, and I was like, "Oh man, I thought these shorts were going to."
You told me it was going to be like 8 minutes,
and
so I was really worried.
I looked and I was like, "Oh man, these things are really, really short." And then I started watching it, and I was like, "Oh no, it's 15 minutes, so that's better than nothing." It's better than I would have rather have been like a half hour. That'd have been really cool, especially in the streaming world we're in. I mean, you'd think 24 minutes if it was broadcast and had commercials. But I was expecting a 30-minute showing, but instead we got 15 minutes. And I watched it, and I was floored. I loved it. I fell in love with it. Yeah, it was so good.
You were telling me after you watched it, you want more and you want the same party, right?
I was hype. I was hype train. And then Tyler just had to bring me down.
I'm not here to bring you down.
Like, you liked that?
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. Don't lie to the people. No, I thought it was very good. I thought it was well done, especially in like 15 minutes, right? They could have went so many ways with a story, right? It's Dungeons and Dragons. It could be anything. It could have been pure comedy and it could have been great. The direction they went with this was not what I expected. I guess, what? Full spoilers?
Oh, yeah, full spoilers.
Full
We're going to talk
spoilers.
about the entire episode.
So if you haven't watched the 15-minute long Dungeons & Dragons first episode of Secret Level. You should go do that real quick and then come back. Otherwise, we're going to spoil the plot.
Yeah.
It's 15 minutes of plot. There's not a ton.
There's a plot.
There's an A to a B and the minor C. And it ends on the C. But, and I'm not going to name names or anything like that or whatever. Firstly, you start with this person's in like a cage. And they're all like, yo, I am covered in tattoos. And I'm having a bad day. And then all of a sudden...
they're in a cage.
Yeah, I mean, some people are into it. And next thing you know, getting checked on in the cage. The people leave him in the cage. The fight happens. Cage gets busted open. It's fine. Survives the encounter though. There's a group of adventurers. Your typical party's like, yo, look at this kid. You got like a gnome sorcerer. You have a monk dwarf. You have what are we talking, like a Goliath paladin?
Yeah, Goliath paladin.
And I'm blinking on the fourth one.
It was a druid. It looks like an orc.
Yes.
Half orc.
Okay. And so you get this party. They're like, we can cure this kid, right? And the party's not all for it, but they eventually, bring him to their good friend, the Golden Dragon Oriole, and they're like, we're gonna get you all fixed up.
You're skipping a really major part here.
Feel free.
And that's that they save the kid from the dragon cult.
Mm-hmm.
So they're dragon cultists.
Yep.
Right.
Cult of the Dragon.
The cult of the dragon. Yep. That's pretty big. Pretty big deal.
I guess.
Pretty big deal.
Yeah. We'll see. But we'll see if that matters at all. Next thing you know, they're running across a bridge, which Richard describes as...
the coolest bridge I've ever seen in fantasy medium, period.
He's very excited about this bridge.
This was a very cool bridge. I don't know what's wrong with you if you don't like this bridge. It is a massive river.
No one said they don't like the bridge.
Waterfall situation, right? And then the bridge is a giant, like, stone hooded figure who's holding out a sword, like presenting it. And the sword is the bridge connecting both sides. It's the coolest bridge.
Did you ever play the first God of War?
Yeah. I don't remember this bridge. Was it in there?
There's a bridge that is a sword.
It's probably not
as
cool as this one.
And at the end, you open Pandora's box, you get giant, and guess what? You pick up that sword bridge, which is awesome because you're like, oh my god! You're like fighting with the bridge that you ran across earlier in the game.
It's a very cool
They inspired purely
Super
off God
cool
of War.
Bridge. I think there's a sword bridge in Xenoblade too.
A lot of sword bridges, actually. Maybe it's not.
Well, there's like
bridge.
whole bodies that you're running across in Xenoblade Chronicles.
Oh, that's a thing.
Yeah.
So they go, they're heading to this front door. A bunch of bad people show up. One of Richard's all like, hey, that's a lich. And I'm like, whoa, skeleton thing. Throwing ice stuff. And this kid that, like, the gnome sorcerer didn't really trust, like, blocks a bunch of, like, ice shards, ice knives, multiple ice knives. Whoa, there's a bunch of ice shards?
Yeah, ice shards. I was expecting to explode.
I was going to explode, too. Like an ice.
She was like, what are these? And then, boom.
Yeah.
Take a D6.
Yeah, that is one good thing. Actually, I'm glossing over a lot of this. The spell representation in this episode was amazing.
Yeah.
Every time you turn around, you're like, oh, yeah, they're doing Way of the Open Hand. Like, they're doing all these different things. Like, everything was cool. It was very well done as far as that goes. They get inside, and what do you know it? Big golden dragon. Big gold dragon gonna be mean? No, big gold dragon real nice. He real cool dude. And then the kid's all like, no, I don't want you to do it because it might hurt you. And the dragon's like, and that's why I'm gonna do it, because you're nice. You're a nice kid. And so then dragon's all like, and like sniffs up all the bad juices out of the guy. And he's all better. And the gold dragon's all like, ooh, this sucks. You've had this for years? And he's all like, yeah, I have. It's okay though, right? And he's like, no, it's not okay. I can't take it. Gold dragon, dead. Gold dragon, super dead. Then we cut outside to earlier in the video, and they're fighting people. Lich guy, dead. How did they do it, Richard?
The lich guy wasn't dead. He just got turned into a snail.
Lich guy, snail.
Yeah.
Turned into a snail. Wait. Lich guy, gonna kill
True polymorph.
Sorcerer. Druid said, no, you're a snail now. That's how you get rid of liches. Vecna, turn him a snail.
Turn him a snail and leave.
You're done. And then Sorcerer's like, guess what? I'm going to use Fireball. Just kidding.
Cone of Flame is better than Fireball. Especially if you upcast it.
Many sorcerers have said Fireball is not the best fire-related spell in the game. I don't know them, but I'm assuming they've said it. There's a lot of people that play this game. So, bunch of like undead get roasted, toasted. You're seeing some cool fights. I didn't expect the dwarf to be a monk until they start doing all the cool monk stuff.
No, for sure.
I was like, all right, are they... I was like, are they going to be a barbarian or are they a fight? Oh my goodness. They just don't need weapons. That's awesome. Thank you. Dungeons & Dragons TV show. That was kind of cool. And then you go inside and guess what? Chest burster. Aspect of Tiamat, I assume. I don't think it's the real Tiamat because that's even scarier. This party's screwed as heck if it's actual Tiamat. I'm going to say aspect of Tiamat burst from the chest and body of this gold dragon Oriole. Oriole's gone. Lived a long, happy life, was being a chill dude, hanging out in his room, and some people came in and were like, hey, we use a hand? And he was like, yeah, I'll give you a hand. It's not going to kill me to death, right? And they were like, nah, it's probably going to be fine, maybe like a headache. And he's like, cool. Ooh, that headache hit real dead. And yeah, now they got Tiamat. And the Tiamat's all like, I'm going to hit you with like 5 different elemental blasts all at the same time. Bruh! And then the other guy's like, well, guess what? I'm a cleric now. And he puts up a little shield and they're all like, whoa, you're super cool. And he's like, I've been fighting this thing for years. Get out of here. And the paladin's all like, but you're not fighting alone anymore. And everybody has the cool like Avengers pose. They're getting ready to fight Tiamat, the aspect of Tiamat, like idiots.
No, they're going to be fine.
They're not fine, Richard. That's why it ended.
They're fine.
It ended 30 seconds before the TPK.
No, there's no TPK. They're all very high level.
Really?
Yeah.
What level do you think that cleric is?
The druid is at least like what, 10
for your true
or
polymorph?
11 for true polymorph?
Dude, the lich using counterspell with a simple snap over and over again. So good. Oh my god, that was amazing. That was the best part for me.
We
just
actually
walking
had
towards him and snap.
We had some fun spell representation here. Yeah. So we had like right off the jump, we had lay on hands. Actually, the first thing we saw was wild shape.
Lay on hands was real cool.
We saw wild shape.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, we saw wild shape right off the jump. We saw lay on hands.
Oh, I watching it the first time, I thought I was watching it in a pretty well lit room too. It was a very dark scene. I thought that character had lycanthropy.
Oh no, she was just wild shaping.
All right, that makes more sense.
Yeah, that we had Leomund's tiny hut.
That was also pretty cool.
That was really cool. We obviously saw counterspell. We saw true polymorph. We saw ice knife. We saw shield. We saw a couple of different moves from the monk. One was basically the returning of the arrow, which was really cool. The catching of the arrow. And
was it shield or was it wall of force?
Well, that was wall. Yeah, that must have been wall.
Because otherwise it would temporary. It was all cool.
Yeah.
It was,
but the monk returning the arrow.
That was cool. So cool.
That was
the
amazing.
Deflect missile, and
because at that point we had no idea what the monk was. We just knew it was a dwarf,
a hand-to-hand,
and we're all
fighter.
Like, that's a cool looking dwarf, and I assumed a fighter. And then all of a sudden we saw him grab the arrow, turn around, and yeet it back.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden start using like open hand techniques, and I was all like, "Oh, this is a cool character. Sick. Like this guy is really baller."
Yes,
like he's
Dwarf's my favorite from the whole thing.
So we got to see a lot of really cool spells. We didn't see fireball. We saw like what looks like cone of flame or something like that, which was still cool. I like it. There was some kind of spell she was casting to open the doors too, which was interesting. I don't know. Overall, like, so we've seen the hate and we've seen the love. Like, I absolutely adored this little 15-minute short. The only complaint that I have with it was that it was only 15 minutes.
Yeah, I know you want more.
I know you want more of this. And I loved the Dungeons and Dragons movies, both the old and the new.
You're talking about Burning Hands, by the way, right? Not
Burning
Cone of Flame?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No, you're good. I was like, I know there's Cone of Cold.
Yeah, there's not Cone of Flame.
But we have the new version. I'm like, did they simplify Burning Hands and just make Cone of both? Like, I was like, that would be awesome. Okay.
But yeah, no, I liked the old Dungeons and Dragons. I like the new Dungeons and Dragons movie, Honor Among Thieves. I thought it was super fun.
Oh man, I love that one.
I need
more of that.
Really good.
Yeah, you said you liked it more.
So on a surface level,
yes.
Like I do like both of those things. This was probably one of my favorite bits of Dungeons and Dragons media that I've seen in a while.
I think it's better representation in a bubble of, D&D and what you can do in D&D.
What you can do in D&D.
Where, Honor Among Thieves, it's very good. I enjoyed the ride. I love all the actors,
super fun.
The characters in it, amazing. I want more of it so bad. there's definitely like there's some things of, oh, the bard doesn't really do any spells and stuff like that when we melee attack with his loot and stuff like that. Like, okay, there's could have been some, they did not like restrain themselves at all in this. There was no like, CG budget because it was all CG. So just anything they wanted the characters to do, they did.
Yeah.
So you definitely get a lot of that. I mean, the fact that we can go through and like, oh, what spell was this? And what spell was this? And what kind of species was this? And that's fun to do. I was watching it with my wife and just like blurting out things as I saw like, oh, okay, they're the paladin of this and they're this. This is cool. I love this. Wow. It was neat.
I thought it was also beautiful. Like the animation was
better than I expected.
I thought it was great, especially with the gold dragon.
Gold dragon was real good.
God, he was beautiful. So pretty. Tiamat looked great. Just in general, all the characters like looked really, really good. The production value was way higher than I expected it to be. Overall, I was just really impressed by it. And it makes me kind of excited to see the rest of the series. I haven't watched the rest of the series yet because I, didn't realize that it was all out. And then it was like literally the night before I watched it, I told you about it, and I was like, I didn't have a chance to watch it yet. And I set aside 15 minutes to get into it. And I want to watch it again. I'm going to watch it again at home on my big old TV, in nice, well lit and everything like that, rather than watching it on a phone. But the sound also amazing, like the music, the sound effects, everything like that. Like I said, it really stood out to me as, like I said, one of the better pieces of D&D media that I've seen in most recent memory. In a bubble, I think I do like it more than I even liked Honor Among Thieves. And I would love to see a full-length feature film of these characters or a continuation, like a series.
I think you might get a sequel.
Totally watch this.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised at all if you see a continuation with these characters. I also wouldn't be surprised if you see some pre-gens pop up on D&D Beyond or something like that of these characters.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, like I said, you didn't like it the same level that I liked it.
I really enjoyed it. You seem very high.
I love it.
If I had to watch, Chris Pine or these CG people on screen, I'm going to go with Chris Pine and co. That was just more of my style.
Mm-hmm.
But in a world of, hey, this is like the best CG representation of D&D I've ever seen. Yes, easy peasy. Not even, I couldn't even name something close.
I'm curious for more of our friends to watch it because I want to see what other people's opinion of it was. And also people that aren't necessarily familiar with Dungeons & Dragons.
Yeah, actually, my wife was not a big fan.
Mm-hmm.
And which is funny because she does play D&D with us. Her big thing was she didn't like the aesthetics of the characters. And I was like, why is that? She's like, oh, I'm not really sure. I'm like, is it the ears? Because there was the gnome on screen. She's like, yeah, something about it's just weird. And I'm like, is it because they're a gnome? And body proportions are different? It's just how gnomes are. Like, it's just it's a little different, right? Like, big head, shorter body, like pointy ears or whatever. And yeah, I think that's what it was. And she's like, yeah, something about Lord of the Rings throws me off too. And I'm like the dwarves? Like,
it's all the dwarves. There's just so many dwarves.
You can't tell me it was Legolas because everyone loves Legolas. Like, just so, yeah. I'm wondering, I didn't even consider that angle of how many people are going to watch this and have like the weird uncanny valley of like, they kind of look like people, but they don't really look like people.
Yeah.
Because you don't get that in like a typical animated, like if you're watching the Critical Role animated series, Legend of Vox Machina, you don't get that as much of, you get a little bit, but
it's way different because
when it's almost photo real CG.
And that's what I was going to get at is that the photo real CG that we're seeing here is a completely different ball game. Because if you look at, you brought up Critical Role, you look at Grog, right, in a cartoon, and he doesn't look anything different than what you imagine like Grog would look like. And it doesn't strike you as odd that he's there because it's a fantasy setting and you're like, oh, that's just like a really big, guy who has a different skin tone and, like kind of different proportions and stuff like that. You look at what we assume is the Goliath in this D&D thing is very like Loracular Goliath, but when you're looking at it in photorealistic CG, I can see how some people might look at it and be all like, why is that person so big? And why is her head so large?
Right.
And her ears aren't exactly human. Is she supposed to be human? I don't understand. Yeah. Especially when you put her next to a gnome. And it's like, there is a little bit of a more of a disconnect there, I think, for people that aren't familiar with what things are supposed to look like in the high fantasy kind of setting. And we don't really have a frame of reference because we haven't seen the photorealistic CG to this level. Like even going to Honor Among Thieves, we got that horrible tabaxi situation.
Look, they tried. It's
so bad.
Why? I mean, you got to put a person in a suit.
It's so bad when like a tabaxi in this is going to look amazing.
Why, right? It's all CG?
Yeah, because it's all CG and it's going to look really good. It's not going to look goofy.
But what about the baby?
It's not going to look
the fish mouth.
I refuse to call that thing a baby. That little abomination thing, the fish bait.
Gosh.
No. There's this. We talked about secret level before and kind of what we hoped it was going to be and what the thing I thought it was going to be, which was testers. Like testers for a possible series.
Yeah.
I hope this one does well. I hope that I'm not.
Oh, like the rewatches on individual episodes, and
yes,
this one
I want
critically
this to
does
well because I still believe that's what secret level is. I think
it's just secret test.
I think that it's secret testing. I think that it's partially because it's a cool thing and it's a good idea. The whole Love, Death, and Robots individual self-contained stories kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But I also do think that there is a lot of opportunity here for basically market testing to see if people want to watch a thing and whether or not they could make more of it. And I don't know because I haven't seen a whole lot of reactions online for it yet because it is so new. I've only seen a couple of reactions here and there, and it seems to be like most people either love it or hate it. And I'm hoping that the more people are on the love side so that selfishly I can get more of this.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, like, I don't know if Garrett's watched it yet, our friend Garrett, who's huge into D&D. I'm curious what his take is going to be on it. I assume automatically, my official guess on record is he's not going to like it.
Right. He's going to tear it apart.
That he's going to tear it apart.
Yeah, they got all this wrong.
Yeah, because what they got wrong, or you know what I mean?
The PC's got way too many actions.
I think he's going to be critical of it. And I, on the other hand, I just had so much fun with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm the minority here. And I think I might be. I don't know.
Well, I agree. I hope we get more. I think it could be even better in a longer form than them trying to cram this into 50. Imagine how good this exact same story, same beginning, same ending, would have been over the course of 5 episodes. 30-minute long episodes.
Yeah, and I think
they
that's
fleshed
one
out
of the
a journey.
That is one of the main complaints that we did see, which was that it like seemed to like trying to cram too many tropes into one episode.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, which I can kind of see where you're coming from in there, but from what I saw was just a very action-packed thing, and I didn't think it was hard to follow. Did you?
No, not at all. I mean, it's person's in a cage. Person gets out of cage. They bring person a thing. They talk to him. Gets backstory of each person, heart to heart. Some D&D spells thrown in there. Go to a fight because you need a fight. Go to a dragon. Do the ending. That's it. It is super straightforward, especially with like this thing is like, it's haunting me. It's always present. It's inside me. It hurts. To someone else gets it. And then guess what? Boom. Chest burst out of them. So it wasn't super hard to follow by any means.
It wasn't. I didn't think it was hard to follow. I didn't think that it was. Yeah, it's not like some like incredibly in-depth story that has like a deeper meaning or anything like that. But again, it's like that's difficult to do in a 15-minute span.
Yeah.
But on the contrary, if that's what you're expecting it to be, because have you watched Love, Death, and Robots?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not all of them, but a lot of them are like have a lot more going on in them in that short time period. The one that jumps out to me is the one where they're visiting Earth after everybody left.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like bodies and they're like, they go to like the resort on the ocean that's for all the rich people that ran out of food. So they all died. And that one is kind of like a funny commentary about the human condition and all that fun stuff. So some episodes are really heavy, as far as like deeper meaning and stuff like that. Whereas I can see where this one isn't necessarily, because it's just fun D&D stuff, like fantasy people and dragons and you know, like all that fun stuff. But I think that's why I liked it.
It's funny because it had more story than I expected going into it. Yeah. Like I really did just expect like we saw the Tiamat stuff from the teaser
we saw that trailer,
I was like, okay, cool. Adventurers are going off to fight Tiamat is what I expected going into it. That's it. I just expected a party going, fighting some little things. They're trying to fight a really big thing. Yeah. And then instead we got backstory of a character that wasn't originally part of the party, but became part of the party because, they made a point to point out that they needed a cleric one day and then boom, this person's going to be their cleric. And, like how you got from the beginning, like this is absolutely like a new person wanting to join your home game and you needing to fit them into the story in a way that made sense. And the DM put in,
I didn't even think about it like
all
that.
of the effort to put them into the game in a way that made sense.
I like that. Yeah.
And you're like, wait, they skipped straight to level 9? Yeah. Like they've had this terrible curse inside them for years. Of course they're level 9. Like, yeah, I thought it was really cool.
I think one of my favorite commentaries on the episode in general was on a Reddit post that I was reading about it, where somebody had mentioned that their GM really hates this party because they're definitely trying to TPK them by throwing a lich at them, and then immediately after fighting the lich, right into a fight with Tiamat.
Well, look at it this way. I think you're right about the crazy high level, right? Because they were taking out a ton of bad guys relatively easily.
Oh, yeah.
And at this point, the bumping up like the CR values to try to build an encounter, you always want it to be a little deadly going on. They probably added like Tiamat and were like, yeah, I guess it's a little over, but they'll be fine.
No, I think
they're getting a whole new player.
I think it's like, that? Well, they got a whole new player. I'm going to kill him with my lich. Oh, man, that lich didn't even stand a chance. Like, the monk beat the crap out of him, and then he got turned into a snail, and they don't even have to short rest. Yeah. They're barely even hurt.
Like, lich was just removed from the encounter.
The lich is just out of the encounter.
They didn't have to fight him.
So I got to think of something to do real quick. Aspect of Tiamat. Here we go. The fight's still going. Yep. So that's what it was. It was just the group was doing too good, and the game master was like, this fight is over too fast. I got to throw something in here real quick, and the only thing I got is Tiamat.
Yep. The only other
alternate I gotta use
version
this model.
The only other version of this I have was there's not another player. This was just a quest, an escort quest. They got to the thing, and then the GM was like, all right, they're going to stay behind and hold the line while you guys flee, and you can power up and can fight this thing later. And they were like, no, we're staying.
Like, we're not going anywhere.
Like,
oh, you sure? You see how many heads this dragon has?
This is your last chance. You should probably really go.
Y'all know who Tiamat is, right? Who? Oh, man.
About to find out.
This really loses a lot of impact when you guys don't know who Tiamat is.
Right? You told us not to look at the manual. Like, but it's the one time. Like, So, yeah, that was Secret Level.
Yeah.
Episode 1.
Episode 1. I am hyped to watch the rest of them. Sadly,
I want to watch
Mega Man's not on there right now. So they only released 8 episodes. By the time listening to this, maybe we have all of them now.
I was going to say, by the time you're listening to this, they should definitely be out.
Yeah, they should definitely be out. But I'm really hyped to watch the rest of them, specifically something like 40K. Because, again, this is really good for me. A really great representation for Dungeons and Dragons in this cool media, which means that I'm expecting a lot now. Moving forward, like I'm expecting the 40K one to be very high quality. I'm expecting the Mega Man one to be very high quality.
Speaking of 40K, did you see Henry Cavill's confirmation?
No.
Officially worked with the higher ups at Games Workshop and Amazon, and they're going through with I believe it's going to be a show.
Oh,
with him.
So
40K.
It's real.
Yes, it's real. It's happening. He celebrated by going to the first game store he ever purchased 40K minis and stuff at. Put it up on his Instagram. So yeah, it's happening. You're going to get, and he worked hand in hand with Games Workshop to come up with a cool in-universe story that they'll be portraying through this Amazon series.
Do we know anything about what the story is?
No, he did not mention. He said, we have lots of secrets right now, of course, because he made the announcement on his Instagram of all places. No, he was very tight-lipped, just that it is happening and it's within universe.
Huh.
So
rad. Yeah. I know that we're getting way off Dungeons and Dragons here.
It's not a D&D episode. It's a Christmas episode.
But I know it's not going to be about the faction of 40K that I want it to be about.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's not going to be, because I know Cavill
because that would upset
likes Space Marines.
Yeah.
And I want it to just be about orcs.
Yeah.
I want the entire thing to be about orcs.
No, he's going to be in
they
some
are the
armor.
most fascinating, like, Warhammer 40K species, like, ever. Just fungus reproducing, like, insanely overpowered creatures that are only not ruling the entire universe because they're stupid. It's the best thing ever.
Maybe this opens up the door for that.
I love them.
That would be a good animated series.
Oh, it would be an amazing animated series, and it would be hilarious. Like, orcs are so stupid that it is so funny.
As someone who doesn't play or follow 40K at all, I absolutely thought you were going to say you were hoping it was going to be about the custodians.
Oh, God. No.
Like, wow, you're really, as someone who doesn't know anything about this game, I know that's a topic you don't want to touch right now. It's like, what? You know what?
It's real easy to get people going about 40K on the internet.
Oh, I'm sure I just did.
Oh, yeah, you probably did.
Innocently.
Yeah, innocently. There's a lot of really cool stuff out there. You could do stuff about the Tyranid. They're fun. It's basically Starship Troopers.
Those are the bugs from
big bugs.
What do they call it? Helldivers?
Yeah, from Helldivers.
Yeah. Okay. That'll be fun. That game hasn't had any controversy either.
No, I want it to be about orcs. Just because they have, like I said, like one of the most like interesting lore, I think, in the entire 40K universe, that, like I said, can be both entertaining and funny because of their like abilities and stuff like that. Like anything that has like the power to paint something a color and then give it an ability just because they believe.
Yeah.
Or be able to breathe in space just because they believe that you can, or they don't know that you can't. And it's just, that's cool. But I am happy to see that he's getting his show.
I know, right? Like, I think they even, I'd heard it, like, if deals weren't come up, like, agreed upon by December, like, end of year, they were going to have to go all the way back to, like, square one, because their, contracts have, like, term limit stuff before they basically have to rip them up and start over. So them, like, skidding in, like, halfway through December, and when they, agreed all this stuff, like, all right, cool. He's at least getting his wish, right? He got to play Geralt of Riviera, and now he's going to play a Space Marine. Or whatever, I assume Space Marine. Dude played Superman. Like, he's just going down the checkbox of, like, very iconic, like, characters and stuff. So we'll see who he does in this.
We need somebody to fight like this for more Dungeons and Dragons media content.
Yeah. Chris Pine, get on it.
Yes. Chris Pine, we need a champion.
Please.
And the champion is a bard, and it's you.
It's you. Come on. High charisma. We need it. So, yeah. There's your 40K bit for now. Anything else happening right now in the cool world of nerddom that we care about? We talked about Daggerheart stuff last week.
Yeah.
We are still very excited for Daggerheart. I can't wait. At this point, as of recording, we haven't heard the Christmas game yet, though I'm assuming by now it's actually publicly available. So we'll probably, if I had to guess, talk about that next episode. Though between Christmas and New Year's and stuff, things get weird with the schedule, which is why we're doing some of this pre-recording. And we'll have to figure out where we're going to fit recording the next episode or two into our schedules.
Yeah.
So if we end up doing some weird, like, remote stuff or something next week, sorry. But I wouldn't be shocked, but we try not to. We try to meet up and do this locally because I get all up in the weeds in my own brain pan of audio quality. And if I'm listening to this later and don't like it, I don't want to put it up online.
He is super picky.
It's true.
Yeah.
So sorry, and you're welcome.
He's super picky to the point where he will point out the audio problems that other podcasts are having that he knows how to fix.
Well, it's ones we listen to a lot, and then sometimes it's something, it's an easy fix.
It's funny.
And I'm like, I wish they would just do this thing. You're like, just write them, just tell them. And I'm like, I can't tell them. They're better than me.
I am constantly amazed about his wizardry and witchcraft and making us sound as good as we do on a weekly basis.
It's not good enough.
Because I listen to a lot of podcasts, and before we started podcasting, I was just accustomed to people sounding horrible. Like all the time.
Oh wait, are you ruined now?
People with much more money than we have.
People who actually make money from the podcast?
People that make money podcasting, and they still sound like garbage.
Not just doing this for fun.
I was just used to that. And I was like, this is just what it is. This is how podcasts sound.
How it goes.
And Tyler's all like, no, this is not how it's supposed to be, and this is not how it has to be. So yes, you have altered my perception of podcast audio.
I am sorry if that has ruined some podcasts for you then. I still want us to be better. We've still got some relatively low cost and quality equipment that we're just making do with. Imagine where we could be if we dropped a solid $1,000 on microphone recording equipment. Instead of recording...
I'm having palpitations.
The cheapest Focusrite I could get with some
for fines,
microphones into a old laptop.
Yes, but can you get fancy microphones in pink like this one?
I'm sure you can.
Okay, fine.
Every once in a while, I'll be watching the video and I'm like, I should have just got another black microphone. I don't know why I got him the pink one. Because my brain is like, I want it to be color coordinated. Yes. And then I remember the pink one makes you happy.
That you bought the pink one.
Look, I know you like it. So, though when I'm putting together a thumbnail, it bothers my brain because I want it all to match.
Just Photoshop it.
It makes you enjoy it more.
Just Photoshop.
And whatever I got to do to keep you coming back week after week, If that means we got to have pink mics, we have pink mics.
I just show up anyway.
So. It's been a year, man.
Yeah, it has been. But there's really not much else going on right now, I don't think.
That's good.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
What?
Short episode.
Yeah, short episode.
You know what that means? Milk and cookies for Santa. You gotta start cooking.
Milk and cookies for Santa. I don't do that.
Yeah. Grinch.
We don't do the elf thing either.
You don't hide the elf?
No. Wait, you're supposed to hide it?
Yeah, the elf.
I thought you're supposed to tear up your house with it. That's what people do, right?
No.
They spill cereal.
Your child goes
like, oops, the elf did it.
You can do that. Your child goes to sleep, and while they're sleeping, the elf moves. And then
that sounds like a lot of
work. Put a lot of effort into it.
Sounds like so much work.
Oh, it is.
And my dog would probably murder that elf.
Oh, if your dog touches it, elf loses its magic. That's not good.
My dog would murder that elf.
That's not good.
Yeah.
You could get Snoop on the stoop. They have that too. It's just Snoop Dogg in an elf costume.
I can't tell if you're making this up.
I promise it's real,
Okay.
and it's coming to Fortnite.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, fair.
Yeah. So that's a thing. If any of you have a Snoop on the stoop, let us know. Send pictures, to our ex, tag us on Threads, or all those other things. Hope everyone has a wonderful Christmas.
Yeah.
Happy Christmas Eve, and any other holidays you celebrate. Appreciate each and every one of you. If you are listening on any of those Apple, Spotify's, any of the podcasty services, 5 stars is super cool. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe is also extra rad. We always have this weird thing where I look at the analytics of YouTube so often. I'm like, man, this episode only got 33 views. Oh well, we had fun making it. Oh, the Spotify alone had 55 views. I'm like, okay, that's not too bad.
There's people over there.
There's people there too. So hi everyone, especially all you audio people. Looking at you right now.
But you can't see it. You're only listening on audio. But if you want to see his beautiful face in a hat, just go watch the video version.
Yeah, maybe double dip. Make me feel extra. Watch all our numbers just double. It's from people. If you want to see what the other side's like for a week, or for a change, just check out the other one. But you don't have to, unless that's what you want to give me for Christmas. But for now, everyone, thank you so much. And I have been Tyler.
And I've been Richard.
And we've been True Strike. See ya.
Goodbye.
Hey, adventurers. Thanks again for joining us today. Please be sure to give us a follow on your favorite podcasting platforms and YouTube. If there's any questions you'd like to write into the show, you can hit us up on Threads, Blue Sky, or Instagram. New episodes released every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for listening to True Strike.
You never gave us a proper ho ho ho.
I did earlier. Ho, ho, ho.